Hi guys! I'm about to do a makeup tutorial. I've started off by cleaning my face with cleanser and then I used moisturizer. It's very important to clean your face every time before you use something in a pot because you're dipping in again and again and applying it to your face, so you don't want to get bacteria on there. I'm using the Ben Nye Stage Makeup that we all have to use. Ooh. And it's really good because it's really gonna cake on to your face and it gives you like a second skin. I don't use concealer with it because it's so thick, but you can if you need to, and that's applied here to cover up dark circles and then anywhere else that you have a problem area, something specifically red or a scar or something that you want to cover up. And I'm using a Beauty Blender sponge. It's not Beauty Blender brand, but it's just a thicker sponge that you can get at Target than the triangle ones we give you. I like to use it, I think it's easier, but the triangle one will work just fine if you want to use the ones that the school provides. Now, since this is taking place in the 1940s, 30s, sorry, they had very thin eyebrows then. Obviously, I have very thick eyebrows, so I'm just going to cover my brows in a little bit of foundation. You'll probably hardly be able to tell, but from the stage it makes a little bit of a difference because they appear smaller. And you just want to dab up and down. Don't streak it like this, then you'll get streaks on your face. Just dab. And this sponge, I wetted it before I started using it on my face and then wrung it out. That's so that it doesn't absorb all the product, so that the sponge is already full of water. And you want to take it down your neck because a lot of these, they only come in like 6 colors, so it's not going to be a perfect match on your neck. And you don't want to look strange from the stage. So now that you've done that, you're going to start contouring and highlighting. So I'm going to take my same sponge and this little color packet that you get from Ben Nye, and I'm going to take the brown color here. And for women, I'm going to apply that under the cheekbones, like so. And then on the sides of the nose. Contouring was very big in the 30s, and it's also big just for people on stage. And I'm doing it on the sides of my forehead and on the top. And then along my jawline. I don't have a very defined jawline, so I like to do this, but you can skip this step if you'd like to. And then we just leave it. No! You'll want to do a highlight also, so I'm taking the lighter color. Sorry, this is a really old palette. And I'm just putting that. Everything that you have a contour for, you should also have a highlight for. So put a light and a shadow. Put your light on where you want to focus the attention. And in the 30s, there was a big push to use rouge. So we're going to be doing that also. You apply it on the apples of the cheeks and then down into your contour. That's the way they wore it then, and it also makes you look less washed out on stage. If you're playing an orphan, you'll put a little bit on your nose. It gives you a youthful look. Put a little red on your nose. And then you just blend it out. Again, the same dabbing motion. I will include with this tutorial a picture of contouring, where to put the shadows and highlights that you can reference when you're doing your makeup. And I like to use a big sponge, especially for the lines like this, because it's much harder to blend out tiny lines. Bigger strokes distribute the product more evenly, and then it's easier to apply. Dab, dab, dab. So now that we're blended, you don't want to completely blend away the product you put on, but you want to make it less streaky and liney. I can see that I want a little bit more rouge right on this side. And then you set all of this like very liquidy, cakey paste with a powder. I'm using the Laura Mercier, but you can also use, I have this Ben Nye that goes with the set, and that's more just a powder I don't prefer as much, but this one's very good. You can apply that with your big sponge, especially in the areas that will really need a lot of it, like under your eyes and your T-zone, which is the nose and forehead. There's the most oil buildup there. And I sweat a lot here during shows. Couldn't tell you why. And I like to really cake on the powder so that when we're dancing and singing, my makeup doesn't move. If you'd like to, you can leave the powder on while you're doing your hair, just so that you can let it sit for a little bit, and it's called baking. It soaks up any existing oil in your face or on your makeup, on your face or in your makeup. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just gonna brush it off. And you wanna brush it off. Always remember, if you're using a powder brush like this to apply it, you apply like this, you put it on, and you sweep it off. If you apply it like this, you're just taking the product off of your face. So there you are. You can also use a powder at this point, a powder contour. I'm not going to, but I will use a powder blush. With that, you just apply it in the same exact places over top to get a more defined look. As an orphan, blush is very important because you're a little kid. So I'm just gonna do that. Servants don't need this much blush, but you still need more than you think you do because the stage is very far away from the audience. So your contour will go here, 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 and here mostly. If you'd like to do this part again, you're welcome to. But don't do a highlight in the traditional sense that's just like glitter here and here and here. Glitter, as J-Medj said, looks really bad from the stage. It looks like you're sweating and it looks like water, and it doesn't look glistening and glittering. It looks sweaty, so you don't want to use that. You can use just more powder, a lighter powder if you like to, but I just choose not to. After this, it's time to move on to the eyes.